Now at 11, tragedy in Boone County.
We have lost a K-9 officer, a deputy, a friend, a warrior, and a brother.
A deputy shot in the line of duty.
10 and 12 with the medics. Use caution in the area. Report the officer down at that location.
While helping fellow officers even after heartbreak. His one last gift.
Jake continues to give life after death by being an organ donor.
Remembering the life of Deputy Jacob Pickett.
From the only station working for you, this is RTV6 News at 11.
A Boone County deputy shot while trying to help police officers make an arrest.
The Boone County Sheriff tells us Deputy Jacob Pickett will not survive his injuries. The husband and father being kept alive so he can donate his organs. So tonight, community members gathered for a candlelight vigil in downtown Lebanon, honoring the life of Deputy Pickett.
Call 6 Chief Investigator Rafael Sanchez begins our live team coverage.
Out and support their police department. The next few days, the next few weeks will be a mix of remembrance and reverence for the deputy, as well as one for honor and humility for those who continue to serve and for all of us who call Indiana home. Reporting live tonight, Rafael Sanchez. Now back to you in Studio A.
A tough day to cover, Rafael. Of course, we've been seeing a lot of people on social media this evening leaving their thoughts and condolences with the family.
A community in mourning. This does not ever get easier, and our hearts break for that family tonight. Well, no one involved in this case was even a part of the original series of events today. Originally, Lebanon police were trying to serve a search warrant on a female.
Yeah, RTV6's Erica Fly shows us how this all unfolded from there.
While Lebanon police were searching for the woman, officers say they noticed 28-year-old John D. Baldwin Jr., who they say had an outstanding warrant as well. That's when Baldwin Jr. and two other people got into a car and sped away. Boone County Deputy Jacob Pickett then joined Lebanon police in an effort to catch the car. And that's when Indiana State Police say the car stopped and 21-year-old
Holding chairs for our hour-long staff meetings. IHA has similar uncomfortable green chairs in its main meeting room, which also are used by board members. So IHA's new furniture purchase is below budget. It's also in compliance with agency rules. The money for the chairs and tables are not from the same budget that funds housing vouchers. Housing vouchers for working families on a waiting list now in the thousands. Not the same budgets, but nonetheless, tax dollars. And IHA stands by what it bought.
We wanted to have something that we did not have to replace in a year or in 2 years. So the purchase that we made, we're confident that we won't have to make this purchase again for several years.
And IHA spokesperson provided us with this statement as well, which in part says, in all 16 of the IHA apartment communities, the leasing offices have quality furniture in the reception waiting areas.
And there's new information surrounding the $31,000 dining room set bought by the Department of Housing and Urban Development. Recently released emails suggest Secretary Ben Carson and his wife played a role in picking out the set, despite claims from the agency and Carson himself that he did not have anything to do with it. One email references, quote, printouts of the furniture the Secretary and Mrs. Carson picked out. In a statement today, a HUD spokesperson said Mrs. Carson picked specific styles after being shown options. Carson has asked to cancel the order. Tonight, piles and piles of trash are taking over an alley on the Near East side of Indianapolis. After neighbors kept calling the city, they turned to Call 6 for help. Call 6 Investigates Paris Lubell is working for you tonight.
Definitely a blind side of life.
It's no doubt that it's a mess, from a windshield to chemicals to whatever that is.
To this day, nobody came out over 6 months that this has been a problem, and we're into a new year and the problem still remains.
Longtime Martindale Brightwood resident Terry Jones has been trying to get it cleaned up for months.
End of last summer, it started out as a little small pile, then all of a sudden
Firefighters have found a person dead while responding to a fire on the Near East Side. They made the discovery around 8:30 tonight in a wooded area on Dorman Street near Michigan, where homeless people have been seen known to stay. Right now, it's not clear if the fire caused that death. We'll bring you updates as we get new information.
Student activists and supporters are not done demonstrating. A March for Our Lives on Washington, D.C. and in cities across the country, including right here in Indianapolis, is planned for next Saturday, the 24th. Now, this was the scene today across central Indiana. Kids from several schools protested peacefully, many calling for stricter gun control laws. The national walkout comes 1 month after the deadly massacre in Parkland, Florida.
Amanda, some students marched side by side with their parents, and many parents who weren't there gave their full support. They told our Erica Fly why they backed their children's decision.
And she knows what she believes, she knows how she feels, and she knows how to express herself. We're very proud of her.
David Fennell's daughter, Alina, was part of the walkout at Heron High School with her parents' full support.
We've taught her that when you have a voice, you should use it. If you see something that's not right, you should speak up. If you don't speak up, who will?
The conversation continues at home.
This is RTV6 News at 11.
New at 11, people are making their voices heard about a proposal that would force trappers to catch and kill some animals. The Department of Natural Resources hosted a public forum in Lawrence County, south of Bedford. We told you last month the plan would require workers to euthanize all raccoons, possums, and coyotes that they catch. Right now, permit holders are allowed to release animals under certain guidelines. People for and against the change, they spoke out tonight.
I had 10 coyote traps out. I caught 2 bobcats accidentally. When you catch that many accidentally, we've got way too many.
There's another provision in this bill, another rule change that's going to basically force animal control people like myself to kill every raccoon, every opossum, and every coyote that we catch. So in other words, no more catch and release.
Another public meeting is scheduled at 5:30 next Thursday, March the 22nd at State Pavilion Park in Anderson.
There are still questions surrounding the death of a dog on a United Airlines flight. We first told you about this last night at 11. Since then, the Association of Flight Attendants, which represents United employees, released a statement saying in part, quote, "This was clearly a terrible accident, as there is not a single flight attendant working for any airline who would knowingly direct a passenger to put their pet in an overhead bin." But the pet's owners told Good Morning America that is not true.
When the flight attendants came, she said, you have to put him up there because it's going to block the path. And we're like, it's a dog, and she's like, it doesn't matter, you still have to put it up there. And she helped her put it up, and she just closed it like it was a baggage.
The family says they heard the dog barking during the flight, but they could not check on him because of turbulence. United is still investigating.
Amanda, Toys R Us stores could become a thing of the past. The Wall Street Journal reports the retailer told employees today that it will close or sell all of its U.S. stores. That decision will impact 33,000 employees across our country. Toys R Us has 700 stores remaining, including Babies R Us locations. The company has 3 Toys R Us stores around Indianapolis, as well as 2 Babies R Us locations.
Scared. The world is really messed up.
Take a look at this man. Police are on the lookout for him. He's accused of following women into stores in Muncie. He drives a light-colored truck like the one you see right here. So Muncie police have received 3 reports of the same man approaching women here while they're shopping. And officers say he's getting so close to them that he's touching their hair, their neck, and their shoulders. Surveillance video shows this man, around 40 years old, approaching women at least twice at this Muncie Target store, then at Walmart 3 miles down the road.
He says, "Excuse me, can you tell me where the Walmart is?" Well, this was the victim at Target, so she tells him, and then he says, "Hey, you've got something in your hair," and he begins to close that little gap into her personal space, and she started to back away. He grabbed her shoulder to keep her from moving back, and then ran his hand through her hair on one side, but then did it on the other side.
The deputy chief says touching someone is actually a Class B misdemeanor. So if you recognize this man, call Muncie police at this number on your screen. It is 765-747-4867. Police also warn this man might be doing the same thing at stores outside of Muncie.
It is one way to combat the massive pothole problem. North Capitol Avenue getting a facelift.
Says her young son looks up to his Uncle Trip. She planned to tell him about the accident tonight. Now, the Pentagon says the crash does not appear to be the result of any enemy activity and is under investigation. Reporting in Carmel, Matthew McClellan, RTV6.
Heartbreaking story, Matt. Trash scattered in a near East Side neighborhood as people who live there irritated. RTV6 working for you. We stepped in to help get their backyards back in shape, and we learned what to do if this happens to you.
St. Clair Place has been what Valerie Davis has called home for the past 10 years. So when she came across this, it is safe to say Valerie was far from pleased.
When I saw this, I was like deeply disturbed.
Among this trash, discarded pieces of ripped up flooring, wood scraps, and just plain garbage, all tossed into this lot next to where Valerie lives.
Because I live here. And for somebody that's obviously not in my neighborhood to just think that they can arbitrarily come in and put mess in my neighborhood is not acceptable. You wouldn't want me to do it to your neighborhood, so please don't come down and do it in our neighborhood.
Valerie tells us she fears this is just the beginning and is speaking up about this problem in her neighborhood.
But this is horrible. You know, we don't understand why people, I don't understand why people come in my neighborhood and want to dump their trash because they're remodeling a home. I'd like to see them be fixed up.
RTV6 heard Valerie and her neighbors plea for help. We found this is not the first time this has happened here. According to this report, the City of Indianapolis Department of Business and Neighborhood Services has already issued a complaint to the property owner, with hundreds of dollars in fees owed for multiple property violations. And although that original trash pile from January has been picked up, trash has returned to the same place this month. Neighbors say they called the Mayor's Action Center but saw nothing happen, so we called the city, filing a new complaint. Because of RTV6's questions, an inspector went back to the St. Clair neighborhood and issued a notice of violation to the property owner again. And this week, the piles of trash gone.
In the past 2 days, even that's been picked up. So just these shards of glass, I guess, that's left. Thank you, RTV6, for helping me get this cleaned up. And personally, thank you to you, Amanda. I appreciate you.
Although the waste is picked up again, Valerie and her neighbors want whoever is dumping trash on their home turf to know they have been warned.
Make a statement at St. Clair Place, we're watching, and we don't want this, you know. This is not going to be acceptable.
And we attempted to reach out to this property owner, but we were unsuccessful. But if you are caught illegally dumping trash in the city of Indianapolis, you could be fined up to $2,500. And if this happens to you in your neighborhood, keep reporting the issue to the Mayor's Action Center. That number is on your screen right now. And when you make a report, write down that number. Then you can follow the process using the Citizens Action Portal.
It appears that the flu season is finally slowing down. Today, the Centers for Disease Control reports a drop in the number of doctor visits for flu symptoms. And the Indiana Health Department says flu activity in our state is no longer considered high. The flu has been downgraded to moderate.
Less than a year after taking over a Marsh location, Needler's Fresh Market is closing in Columbus. And last year, the market took over 15 Marsh locations, including the store in Columbus. But today, we confirmed that location will close